We did expect Kemi Badenoch to obviously go in on it. She went in on the first question, but didn't pursue it, really, throughout the whole of Prime Minister's questions, for which she's getting quite a lot of flack on social media.
Exactly, Jane. There's a little bit of noise now on social media because this obviously came out half an hour before Prime Minister's questions. It was timed so that the Prime Minister, who would have been asked about Angela Rayner, clearly had an answer. So the information about referring herself to the Standards Advisor, referring herself to HMRC had come out. But the bones of it is that she underpaid stamp duty at a time when the government is looking at potentially raising taxes in the budget around property duties. So this is pretty controversial. I don't need to tell you that. And I think there was a view amongst some that Kemi Badenoch, the leader of the opposition, would really go on the attack, and she did not. She asked the first question, asking the Prime Minister that given that the Deputy Prime Minister had underpaid tax while she's still in office, and he answered that there was a follow-up, and that was it. I think we can listen to the exchange.
Yeah, let's listen to what the Prime Minister said.
In relation to the Deputy Prime Minister, she has explained her personal circumstances in detail. Absolutely. She's gone over and above in setting out the details, including Mr. Speaker, yesterday afternoon, asking a court to lift a confidentiality order in relation to her own son. I know from speaking at length with the Deputy Prime Minister just how difficult that decision was for her and her family. But she did it to ensure that all information is in the public domain. She has now referred herself to the independent advisor. That is the right thing to do. But I can be clear, I am very proud to sit alongside a Deputy Prime Minister who is building 1.5 million homes, who is bringing the biggest upgrade to workers' rights in a generation, and who's come from a working-class background to be Deputy Prime Minister of this country.
And Beth, when you spoke to her earlier, she told you about what the Prime Minister said. What was his reaction when she explained all this to him?
Yeah, so I did ask earlier, and we're going to put this full interview out on our electoral dysfunction podcast, a little plug there, later
this afternoon.
But I said to her, I've got the quote here, I said, "You've spoken to Keir Starmer about this. Do you have his full backing?" And she said, "Keir knows the circumstances. He obviously knows about the challenges my son has faced and the background to all of that. He understands the circumstances. My understanding of the processes is that the independent advisor will go through all of these facts now and will give them to the Prime Minister." So when it comes to the full backing, he's obviously going to go through the process, and she has been referred to his Standards Commissioner. But I think if you were Angela Rayner at Prime Minister's questions today, you will come out feeling quite relieved. Going into it, I spoke to her an hour and a bit before. She was visibly upset. She was nearly in tears, talking about the arrangements, disclosing information about her son, admitting that she had underpaid tax, saying that she'd referred herself, not being able to answer whether she would actually survive this political storm, even if she's exonerated by the Standards Commissioner. Has she completely irreparably damaged the Angie Rayner brand? OK, all of those questions, she couldn't really answer those, and she was clearly quite upset about having to disclose this information about her son, who she says in the statement has lifelong disabilities. But she came out of that with the Prime Minister offering very clear support. The Chancellor you saw there offering support. And Kemi Badenoch could have come out, if she had chosen to, with a series of quotes from Angela Rayner from the past, criticising people about underpaying tax, talking about the need to increase tax on property or whatever. She could have had just attack after attack after attack on this. And I think there's lots of people that are frustrated she didn't do it. Now, she chose not to do it, and it might be because she's read the statement and she's decided that that is not the angle she wants to go down, and that's not the tack she wants to take. But I think a lot of people are frustrated because they would have seen this as an open goal to press on Rayner, her reputation, taxation, and she chose not to do that today. And she did have enough time because, as I said, that all went out half an hour before, which in politics is a long time, half an hour, isn't it?
Yeah.